Viewers, I had to do a big major service on my vehicle. The plate behind the engine, this is a big job, done 201,000 kilometres. I noticed at around the 185,000 kilometre mark it started making a lot of oil. In the last year or so I noticed it's leaking coolant. This thing is using coolant, and I've changed the inlet manifold gaskets. And I traced it down when I looked under the motor after I pressure washed it and topped it up with fresh coolant and cleaned it. I seen it was coming from underneath the motor, the back of the motor. Well, this plate basically what the problem is. It comes with a rear main seal and everything. I initially thought the rear main seal had failed. That's why it was always leaking oil. But that wasn't the case. The actual gasket on this plate, here's the old one. You can see here it's failed and it's blown out and the water's leaked out and coolant's been leaking out. Here it's on its way out too. Now the gasket here that blew out here, oil come out of here and just sat up here and accumulated and just ran down the side. And that's what, it was always leaked oil. This side here was on its way out. You can see a bit of corrosion there, see? This is all just on its way out. You see all this corrosion here, it's been failed the longest. That gasket has failed. This oil just leaked out of here, it's gone out of here, and made its way down the side of the engine block. So sometimes, worst case scenario, this backing here does corrode all the way through. And you can get a pinhole in there. Motor 98, it's original. Monday, on a Monday this was made. Something LA.03. But yeah, that's only 190 bucks for a new plate. Another company charges 500, but Jesus Christ, businesses that do that, surprised they're actually still doing business. They're kicking a gouge prices to customers like that. So here's a dead end. But yeah, you see where it's just failed. Similar failure to the inlet manifold gaskets, except the inlet manifold gaskets here are an easy job, much easier job. But yeah, basically pull the transmission out, and you're going to start by taking the inspection plate off. This was a pain in the ass to get off. I had to take the exhaust out to free it because it was getting pinched between the pipe and the bell housing. Take those off, and once I get the inspection plate off I could see exactly where the leak was, and that confirmed my suspicion 100% where it was leaking from. I'm just going to get the camera under here. Not the best way to do it, but you've got to do what we got. We've made sure it's all safe. We've got extra stands under this vehicle so it's nice and safe on this ground. Having a hoist would be bloody nice. There we go, that surface there, you can see the top there, the big holes of the water jackets. You get the crank, above that's the camshaft. At the very top behind the gasket is the balancer shaft. And you can just see in the surface of the mating surface in the block where the water jackets are. The left side, not too bad, it was only just starting to go, but the right side had been leaking a while. That's been leaking water a while. And near the bottom there, just it's dry there, but on the other side, I've blown it dry now, but there was a little oil residue on that side there, in that cavity, just a lot of oil. So that's, gasket's definitely failed. So the next step is to get that mating surface, the gasket surface scraped and cleaned really well. Then they're going to leave the oil out of the engine, and when I put it back together, raise the engine forward, because that water is actually making its way into the sump. It goes down underneath there and makes its way into the sump. So that's all going to have to be flushed. Normally that's sealed with the bottom of the that plate, seals the bottom of that off. And that's a complete seal, but the gasket's just all failed there. I washed this thing religiously and there was no water in the sump anyway, so it's sealed very well against the elements from the outside, which is good. Let's support the engine with that jack, because the engine is going to want to tip back. Now, we didn't have to really loosen that sump off. Sometimes you can loosen those two bolts to loosen the sump, But this particular one, there's no pins there or that locate on the bottom of the plate, so they didn't actually have to loosen the sump off. But all those bolts on the sump are going to get torqued and checked for tension, make sure there's no loose ones. My transmission, however, I had some loose bolts on that. Always check all their bolts under here on the pan are tensioned up. I torqued all those up and they were on their way to being quite loose, so you can see the seepage. Lucky I checked that. Just with time, I think the heat that cools down and warms up, and just the expansion and contraction just loosens over time. And same with these bolts up here on the inlet manifold, my VY ones. I have to check that because a lot of people were saying in the forums, if you've got the bits of oil in your radiator, like that sort of duck buttery stuff, but your oil's fine, well, chances are the inlet manifold bolts can be a little bit loose, and it's just letting a little bit of oil go into the radiator. But no, failed. The gaskets fail, you get both water in your oil as well, and duck butter on your under your rocker covers and your valley cover. But in my case, my VY, I definitely suspect some of these bolts have come loose. But that's just the cooling and warming up cycles and heat cycles of the engine with time. So I'm going to just check the oil and torque them up and keep an eye on the radiator fluid. It hasn't gotten any worse or better. It's just a little precautionary thing. But this vehicle's been very well looked after. I've always cleaned this thing and well maintained it, so sometimes they fail earlier, and sometimes they don't fail at all on these Ecotechs, but this is a pretty common problem. They're known for their coolant leaks, the Ecotech motors. So I'm going to do all this properly and get it really well sealed and just stop all the bloody oil and coolant leaks. If I can get this thing as leak free as possible, it'd be good. So just may have to probably use some extra gasket compound. Wouldn't be a bad idea. The better we can seal this, the less mess you're going to have in your concrete over time. Because the good old Ecotechs are known for using coolant for just leak. It's just a common thing, so we're going to do it a lot. Really good service now we've got it apart. Anyway, it's a big job. Anyway, thanks for watching.